Well, the story of Mary Surratt is by nature, of course, a tale of epic proportions. So, and it's a period film, and I think it really captured the spirit. And Chris King, the director, and I decided the best way to do that and get the spirit of the times and the emotionality is to use a string orchestra, a very expressive string orchestra. When Chris asked me to do the film, I was so honored, because this is what I live for, is to write music for picture, and something so profound and meaningful and kind of very heart-wrenching, and you know, is she guilty, is she innocent? You know, it's just a chance to really be able to express through music what you are feeling and seeing on the film. And also to get the feedback from Chris as director was invaluable, because he was able to put in terms what he wanted and what he needed, and he was very specific. He had a vision for the film. And I think it really honed the music to something better than it would have been if I had just been on my own and doing it, you know, without a picture. So I really enjoyed the process, and so we decided that we would use a lot of bass instruments and cellos, because that low frequency sound adds to the richness and to the kind of profound nobility in some cases, and also the sorrowful moments in the film. And so we wanted that, but we also wanted to find a sound that was more contained yet expressive. We thought a good way to do that would be to add some instruments that would have a kind of a raw pioneer flavor to them. So we added live fiddle, and we added viola and solo cello, and also acoustic guitar, instruments that would have been around. We added a piano, which to me immediately brings to mind the feeling of intimacy and hearth and home, and that's so important in such a big epic story. And Chris is a fan of the use of a motif. A motif is a musical idea. It's a signature set of notes or a melody or an instrument or a sound that always matches a certain character or a certain aspect of what you're trying to get across. The piano, to me, has its own melody when it comes in, and to me it represents kind of the soul, actually, of Mary Surratt. And the string orchestra is a very slow-moving set of only 4 chords. It keeps repeating the same 4 chords, very dirge-like, with variations in the melody above it, but it keeps moving on, unchanging, and that to me is fate. That is supposed to represent the fate of what is happening. And one more example of a motif is kind of these ghostly high notes that come from the lowest instruments in the orchestra, the double bass. There's a certain trick they use, they're called harmonics, and it makes a very hollow, ghost-like sound. To me, that always kind of portended fate or death. To give it an extra layer of realism and profundity, along with the samples that we use for our orchestral samples for our main string section, we used live instruments like violin and layering many times over, or playing soloistically. Solo viola, I played the viola also. And then my friend Wolf Sebastian is a German cellist, spectacular, world-class cellist. Actually, I got him to do the main cello melody parts, and not only the cello melody parts that were in some of the more intimate parts of the movie, but he also boosted the sound and the realism of the bass notes of the whole orchestral pad. All that works to add a personal view on what they are seeing and what they're hearing. Some of the other cues were really beautiful to work with, because Chris invited the use of these instruments that would have been used at the time, like the large dulcimer and the guitar and the fiddle. And so it was fun to have that. And here's an example of one of the more intimate cues, where Anne, her daughter, Anne and Mary are at the river. And they were their best of friends in life and death.
Forgive me, Anna, for the future you will have once I am gone. A woman's lot is a trying one, and you will always have times of melancholy. But my heart aches now at the thought of the added cruelty you will suffer.